Imagine a landscape of absolute desolation. The soil hasn't just dried up, it is calcified, turned to stone. The fields aren't merely empty, they're cracked open like old wounds, and there's no green, no water, just the sound of a dry wind carrying the cry of life amidst the suffocating hunger. This is a world ruined not by nature, but by the colossal greed of a single tyrant. A world where the earth herself has refused to yield, hiding her bounty deep within her core.
It's a terrifying image, isn't it? And a very warm welcome back to the deep dive.
We are continuing our journey through the Vishnu Purana today. We've got all the translations, the academic papers, the whole lot. And, well, we're moving from the immovable stability of Dhruva, which we discussed last time, into a period of just utter chaos.
We really are.
Today we're looking at the story of King Prithu. And I have to say, looking at the sources, this isn't your standard king conquers the land narrative, is it?
No, not at all. It's actually quite the opposite. If you strip away the mythological trappings for a moment, this is the origin story of the social contract with nature.
Oh, that's a brilliant way to put it.
It frames the fundamental question of our existence, really. How do we interact with the planet? Is it a relationship of ownership where we just take what we want?
Or is it a relationship of mutual obligation?
A stewardship.
Exactly. The difference between a landlord and a guardian. But before we get to our hero, Prithu, we really have to talk about the villain who broke the world in the first place.
Yeah.
A king named Vina.
Vina, yes. So if we look at the lineage, we're moving down the timeline from Dhruva. But where Dhruva represented Dharma and that incredible focus, Vena is, well, he's the complete inversion of that. The Vishnu Purana describes him as a harmic to his very core.
And for anyone new to the concept, when the text says a harmic, it doesn't just mean he was a bit of a jerk. It means he was acting against the fundamental laws of order that hold the universe together.
It's structural, a cosmic crime.
Precisely. And the sources are very explicit about his ego. He basically shuts down the entire spiritual system. He stops all rituals, all sacrifices, and makes this absolutely staggering decree. I am God, worship only me. It's the ultimate totalitarian move, isn't it? That desperate need to be the center of absolutely everything.
It's classic narcissism on a cosmic scale. In the Vedic context, the king is meant to be a conduit. He connects divine resources with earthly needs. He facilitates the flow.
Right.
Vena clogs that pipe. He decides he is the source. And the reaction from the cosmos is immediate and severe.
And this is where we meet a central character in this whole drama who is arguably more important than any king, Bhudevi.
Bhudevi, the goddess earth, literally.
Her reaction to Vena's arrogance is fascinating because it feels so incredibly modern. She doesn't raise an army. She doesn't just swallow him in an earthquake. She simply withdraws.
It's a strike.
A general strike by the planet.
Precisely. A cosmic strike. The source text says she becomes angry and she withdraws her fertility. She hides all the seeds, all the grains, all the resources deep within herself. The land just goes barren.
So the environment itself reflects the leadership.
It's a direct consequence. The physical health of the land is tied to the moral health of its ruler. Nature isn't just a backdrop here. It's an active participant in politics.
And so the people are starving, the rituals have stopped, and the sages, who are usually quite patient in these texts, they finally decide enough is enough.
And I love the weapon they choose. They don't use swords, not yet anyway. They use grass.
Mantra-infused grass, to be specific. Blades of kusha grass, charged with spiritual power.
Which is so symbolic. The tyrant who thought he was harder than stone, taken down by the softest element of nature. It shows that soft power, when it's aligned with dharma, with truth, is stronger than any hard power aligned with ego.
So Vena is dead. The tyrant is gone. But that doesn't solve the problem, does it?
Not at all. This is where it gets tricky. The family remains. Bhudevi hasn't released the seeds just because Vena's gone. The kingdom has no leader, no food, and Vena had no children.
No heir. So that conduit we mentioned is just broken.
Completely. And this leads to one of the most bizarre and fascinating rituals in the Puranas. The sages decide to perform a kind of biological alchemy. They decide to churn the dead body of King Vena.
Okay, we have to unpack this.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit macabre. When you say churn, the text uses the same word they use for churning butter for milk, right?
Yeah.
Anthana.
It's a very visceral metaphor. They're trying to distill leadership from a polluted source. It's almost like they're trying to centrifuge his genetic material to separate the good from the bad.
So it's like ancient genetic editing. They're trying to splice the soul.
In a way, yes. The texts say that when they began to churn the thigh of the dead king, a dark, short being emerged first. His name was Nishada.
Nishada. And he's definitely not the hero we're looking for.
Not in the slightest. Nishada is described as dark, with red eyes representing all of Vena's sin, his cruelty, his greed, all the toxicity of the father concentrated into one being.
So before they could get the good king they needed, they had to physically extract the bad vibes. That is such a powerful image that you can't just ignore the sins of a past regime. You have to actively purge them.
Exactly. The lineage had to be purified. They told this being, Nishada, to sit down, Nishida, which is where his name comes from, and he was essentially banished to the forests and mountains.
It's interesting they didn't kill him, though. They just segregated him. It's like acknowledging the darkness exists. It's part of the lineage, but it cannot be in charge.
That's a brilliant insight. You don't destroy the shadow. You just ensure it doesn't sit on the throne. Once that darkness was removed, they then churned Vena's right arm, and from that arm emerged Prithu.
And the contrast couldn't be starker. Vena was the thigh-based desires, but Prithu comes from the arm, representing strength and action. And he's described as radiant, fully armored, glowing.
Yes, the sources say he is a partial avatar of Vishnu himself, which is a key political theory in the Puranas. A true king holds that distinct energy of preservation. So Prithu is born, he is pure, he's powerful. But here's the kicker. He walks out of the palace and into a wasteland.
The honeymoon period is non-existent.
Zero, the people are still starving. Skeletal, they come to him crying out for help. And Prithu, being this avatar of action, he looks at the barren earth and he gets mad.
He gets furious, doesn't he? He sees Bhudevi, the earth, still refusing to yield her bounty. He feels her continued withholding is now harming the innocent.
It's a standoff. He grabs his great bow and arrow, the Ajagava bow, and the sources are very cinematic here. He chases her. And Bhudevi, seeing this radiant, angry king, she shapeshifts. She turns into a cow and runs.
Okay, let's pause on the cow. Why a cow? I mean, obviously the cow is sacred in the culture, but in this specific metaphor, what does it represent?
The cow, or go in Sanskrit, is the universal symbol of nonviolent sustenance. A cow transforms grass, which humans can't eat, into milk, which is a perfect food. It gives more than it takes. By turning into a cow, the earth is signaling her very nature. I am a provider, but I am also a living being that needs care.
But Prithu is chasing her with a weapon. It looks like he's about to commit the ultimate sin, killing the sacred cow.
It looks like violence, yes. He chases her across the cosmos, and eventually he corners her. And this is the pivot point of the whole story. The king has his arrow drawn, aimed right at the earth's heart.
It's a paradox, isn't it? If he shoots, he ends the hunger, but he destroys the very source of food.
Exactly, and Bhudevi turns to him and asks a very logical question. She says, King Bis, you know the Dharma. If you kill me, where will your people live? If you destroy the source of life to satisfy your anger, you destroy yourself.
Mutually assured destruction.
Precisely. And Prithu, unlike his father Vena, is capable of listening. He's not driven by ego. He's driven by the need to save his people. So he lowers the bow. The violence transforms into a negotiation. This is the moment the social contract is signed.
So what's the deal? What are the terms? Because this feels like the moment civilization actually begins.
It really is. Bhudevi agrees to yield her resources, but she has a condition. She says, I cannot just be exploited. I need a guardian. I need a calf to induce the milk. And I need you to level the ground so the milk can flow everywhere.
She needs a system of care.
Exactly. She essentially says, I will feed you, but you must protect me. And Prithu agrees. This leads to the concept of dohana.
Dohana, which translates to milking.
Yes, milking. But in the Puranic sense, it's a metaphor for ethical extraction. You don't bleed the earth, you milk it.
There's a huge difference. Bleeding kills the host. Milking sustains both.
Correct. And the Puranas describe this beautifully. Prithu uses Swayambhuva Manu, the first man, as a symbolic calf. By presenting the calf, he induces the motherly instinct of the earth cow, and the milk flows.
But it's not just actual milk, is it? The text lists a whole inventory of things.
Oh, it's everything. From this milking, he gets vegetation, grains, agriculture, medicinal plants. The text even implies that different groups milk the earth for different things. The sages milk her for wisdom, the demons for illusion. The earth provides whatever you approach her for as long as you know the right method.
That's fascinating. It's like the earth is a database, and you just need the right query language. If you query with greed, you get dust. If you query with care, you get grain.
That's a great way of putting it. And Prithu's query language was sustainability.
The text also mentions he did some major landscaping after this. He didn't just take the grain and sit back.
No, this is the civilization aspect of the myth. He uses the tip of his bow to level the mountains. Before this, The earth was rugged, chaotic. Prithu organizes the landscape. He creates flat lands for agriculture. He builds settlements, villages, towns. He's the first urban planner.
But the linguistic takeaway is what really seals it for me. The name change. I was looking at this in the notes and it really struck me.
Yes, the name of the earth itself changes. Because Prithu spared her, because he restored her and agreed to be her protector, the earth accepted a new status. She became his daughter.
His daughter. That is a massive shift in the power dynamic.
Huge. In Sanskrit, the daughter of Prithu is Prithvi. That is the most common name for earth in India today.
Prithvi.
And think about what that signifies. Thizana thought he was the owner, the landlord. Prithvi becomes the father. A father doesn't own his daughter. He is responsible for her. He protects her. He ensures she flourishes.
Which completely reframes the environmental ethic. If the earth is Prithvi, the daughter of Prithu, then polluting it isn't just bad business. It's a violation of family duty. It's child abuse, effectively.
Exactly. It changes the dynamic from resource and consumer to kinship. You protect what is kin to you. And that is why Prithu is so revered. He didn't conquer the earth. He adopted her.
So if we synthesize this, we have two very distinct models of leadership, don't we? Vena and Prithu.
Vena is the archetype of the exploiter. He believes the world exists to serve him. His mantra is, I am the enjoyer. He takes without giving. And the result is ecological collapse.
And Prithu is the steward.
He's the archetype of the steward. He understands his power is linked to his responsibility. He negotiates, he organizes, he protects. And in return, the earth provides abundance.
It's impossible to read this and not see the modern mirror. I mean, the source material almost invites us to look at our current situation.
It does. We're living in a time that feels very much like the transition between Vena and Prithu. We've extracted so much, treated the earth as a dead vault of resources to be cracked open.
Pushing the systems to their absolute limit.
Precisely. And we're seeing the signs of Bhudevi withdrawing, aren't we? Climate instability, resource scarcity. This is the earth saying, I will not yield if you do not respect me. It's the same strike she pulled on Vena.
The text mentions sustainable leadership. That feels like such a buzzword today, but here it is in a text that's thousands of years old.
And it's the definition of true power in the Vishnu Purana. Power isn't domination. It's the ability to hand the earth over safely to the next generation. Nature is like the cow. If you treat her with arrogance, Vena's way, she runs or dries up. If you treat her with care, Prithu's way, she feeds you.
The first king was the first ecologist. That's a powerful way to frame it.
It is. And it leaves us with a question. In our own lives, in our own sphere of influence, are we acting like Vena, demanding the world serve us? Or are we acting like Prithu, asking how we can serve the world so it can sustain us?
A profound question to sit with. So, Prithu restores the earth. The fields are green again. The people are fed. It sounds like a happy ending.
It is a resolution, certainly. Prithu brought back abundance, but you know how the Puranas work.
There's always a but.
Stability never lasts forever. The wheel of time keeps turning, moving inevitably toward dissolution. While Prithu mastered the land, there's a force coming that no bow and arrow can stop. The narrative is moving away from earth and toward water.
Water.
A great flood is coming.
And the sources tease something very specific for our next deep dive. A tiny fish.
A tiny fish with a very big destiny. Why did Vishnu take the form of such a helpless creature? And who is King Satyavrata? What happens when he puts that tiny fish into a water pot?
It sounds like we're going to need a bigger boat.
We certainly will. We are heading straight into the story of the Matsi Avatar and the deluge.
I can't wait for that one. That brings us to the end of our deep dive into the story of Prithu and the Sacred Accord. If you enjoyed this journey into the ancient roots of ecology and leadership, please do like, follow, and subscribe. It really does help us keep these deep dives coming.
Indeed. There is always more to learn from the past to illuminate our present. Until next time.